So in today's video we are taking the mighty Sony a6000 out on a street walk with the Sigma 30mm 1.4, which is one of the most popular APC sensor lenses for Sony out there. On this shoot I am mostly shooting in aperture mode, and I have made a video that you can look up here on how I use aperture mode to shoot street photography if you want to. I have set my settings to have a minimum shutter speed of around 200 to make sure I capture things in motion, and then I've set the auto ISO to around 3200 because this is the max I think that the Sony a6000 can carry away. Most of the shots I shoot at aperture f4, but of course this varies if I want to make shots more blurry or less blurry. So I always encourage people to just start shooting when they have their camera with them, because for me at least, most of the times I need to start my mindset on tuning into photography, and this you can only do by just starting out. And just right off the bat, this photo here, I was kind of thinking that I could have a good frame by using the bicycles in the foreground and then using the trees to kind of frame up the center of the photo. But I think this frame is way too busy, and we could try to remove some of the distracting elements in Photoshop, but I still don't think this is like a super interesting photo, although it did help to remove some of these things. And I just want to point out that sometimes it is worth to remove certain elements in photos, because this can elevate your photos in a huge way. So I know that shooting down the canal here can make a great photo, and yeah, I just walk over here because I think this is an easy photo to capture. It's nothing special, although we have this toilet sign here up in the corner, which I kind of like. Of course, this is not the most pleasing thing to have in a photo, but it's also kind of humoristic with this beautiful scene to have a toilet sign here. And going over here, I saw there was a young woman sitting down on the pier, or what you call it, and I really wanted to capture her because she was really enjoying the moment and listening to music of some sort. So I rushed over to the other side to see if I could capture a photo of her. And by going down here, I think we emphasize the leading lines of the pier, which of course is leading towards her, and also shooting a bit upwards towards her. I think this emphasized the moment of calmness that she is in at the point. Of course, one could argue that the toilet side here also kind of distracts the image, so we could crop in a bit to remove some of these distracting things in the background, which I think helps. And you could crop in even more to really have focus on her facial expressions, so we can see how she is enjoying this moment. So what do you think? Which of these three photos works the best? In the shoot here I was hoping for a lot of golden hour, but I did arrive a bit late, so I think the walk here became a bit stressful for me because I wanted to get the most out of it. But I hope you don't feel this here in the video. This is also another cliche, taking this photo, it's been done a lot of the times. But why does this photo work in the first place? This is of course because we are using this doorway as a frame to show off the other part of Newhound. And with the colorful houses in the back, this is a picturesque scene that most of us enjoy. I really like the woman walking through here. I think she is really pretty. I think she could make this photo even more interesting. Unfortunately, there is a car coming from behind, which kind of ruins the photo.
Of course. So you want this way or that way? This way, yes. And Here you go. Yeah, you're welcome.
So while we're at Newhavn and I'm taking some of these like classic photos that you see a lot, let's just take a moment to talk about this photo here and why it works, because I think it is good to think about why this kind of photo works in the first place. So of course what we have at Newhavn are all these colorful houses that make some great saturated images with a lot of vibrant colors and contrast. We have here particularly the famous Newhavn 17, this yellow building that contrasts nicely to the more blue water and the blue sky, or the bluish sky if we had one. And this creates a lot of contrast in these photos. Also, I think that the leading lines of the pier, the boats, the buildings helps draw the viewer's attention into these kind of photos. I have captured the boat here somewhat in the rule of thirds, and we have a nice light catching on to the front of the boat, which also helps us look at this boat coming in here. Then we have the red boat down to the right, which again helps to create some sort of color contrast to the image. And I think perhaps the photo would have been better without the boat, but I also kind of like that this color pops down here to break up the image a bit. So what could have been better? I think, of course, we could have hoped for less people on the other side of the pier, so we had someone particular to look at. Perhaps we would have wanted the wooden boat behind to have not been there, or at least the mast. What is that called? The mast? It is called the mast, okay? A mast, sorry. We could have wanted the mast to not interfere with the photo, but it also works because this is an old area of Copenhagen, it's an old boat, it helps tell this fairy tale story of Copenhagen. Overall, I'm pleased with this photo, even though it is a normal Copenhagen photo that a lot of people have taken before me. So we have another photo here, and although we have scaffolding on the other side of the frame, I still think this is a good photo here at Newhavn as well. This is a more front-on approach, which works really well with architecture like this, and also with the leading lines of the pier. I have used the pole or whatever it is here on the left to provide some sort of interest and also perhaps a bit more unusual viewpoint of this scene. I think the photo here captures the vibrant atmosphere of Newhavn, with people enjoying like the outdoor seating and the canal pretty well. The focus on the building beside with the mermaid sign, Havfruen, is pretty effective because this helps to draw attention to the key elements of the scene. And of course, with the little boat down to the right placed in the rules of third again, we have another element which adds to the scene of this harbor area. So here we are with a beautiful building, but we are also challenged with the trailers and scaffolding. So my idea is to exclude as much as the trailers as possible and use the scaffolding as a front out of focus element to add some depth to the photo. And we have the subjects here in the middle, which is a decent frame, but I was hoping to have some people walk by closer to the building, which eventually happened, and I really think this works better. It's a more balanced photo with the older couple coming through here, and I'm trying to frame them somewhat in the rules of a third. And sometimes you just take photos which aren't that pretty or are anything special, and this is one of those. I really liked this front of this restaurant because the doors and the windows were really crooked, and I just thought that this was nice to showcase here. And of course the red colors of the building was also a little bit interesting, at least. I think here it's really obvious that you can use the pillars to frame in the royal guard in this photo. So when taking photos like this, I recommend to think about where the subject is. And as you see here, I use a center framing and I wait for the royal guard to be between the windows and against the wall. And this really helps to make him pop from the background. And the placement of this royal guard near the bottom of the frame, where he is almost aligned with one of the vertical lines of the building, I think this creates a sense of scale and also adds interest to the photo without overwhelming the scene. And in my opinion, I think this image is well composed, with the building occupying the majority of the frame. And it's showcasing this impressive facade, and the inclusion of the lone royal guard walking near the base of the building adds a human element that contrasts nicely with the scale of the architecture. The figure's small size relative to the building emphasizes the grandeur and the dominance of this structure.